G'day everybody. I just gotta give a little bit of advice to myself as much as anybody else. I probably was just a little bit rude to a gentleman who came by here. I got the bonnet up on the Prado. I just put a new auxiliary battery in. Been having trouble with my batteries, been going flat. The batteries were pretty old and had been through a pretty hard life, and that's because I've got two fridges in the back. One runs as a freezer, one runs as a fridge. They're in here, covered up by this carpet at the moment, right? Now the system for this car, electrical system that I've installed, is quite complex because it's got to run those fridges, HF radios, two UHF radios, a VHF radio, a whole bunch of other things. It's got solar incorporated as well. And I was having trouble once I put the new battery in. The fridges wouldn't go unless the solar panel was running. And the solar panel regulator is actually playing up as well, so we're going to replace that. So I didn't want the fridges running like that because the voltage is going up and down, up and down. Now, the interesting thing is if I disconnect the solar panels, the power to the fridges would stop altogether. And that's really weird because they're not connected through the solar panel. Solar panel's connected to the battery. The battery supplies the fridges. The battery's fully charged, it shouldn't need the solar panels. When I disconnect the solar panels, the fridges won't run. The power to the fridges isn't there. I couldn't work it out for the life of me. And this poor gentleman came along. Actually, it looked like he's the owner of Clearview Mirrors. So I've just pissed off the owner of Clearview Mirrors. And he came by and he said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "No." Actually, I said, frankly, no. This is a fairly complex electrical system. There's a fault with it. And what I was thinking to myself is, by the time I explain all this to you, it's going to be, take forever. But the other thing is, I just knew from the way his demeanor that what was going to happen here was he's going to tell me where the problems were in a system that I built. And sure enough, I did say to him, "Look, I've got an issue that the fridge won't run unless the solar panels are hooked up." "Oh, well, then there's a problem with your battery." I said, "No, it's a brand new battery. There's a problem with the system and it's very complex," I said. And he said, "Well, no, you must have a problem with your alternator." I said, "The car's not running. The alternator isn't in the equation here. There's a battery here, auxiliary battery, which powers the fridges. The fridges aren't working. So something's wrong with the system." And they said, "Well, your alternator charges your battery." I said, "The battery's fully charged. It's a brand new battery." And then he started to tell me how the system works. And I sort of said to him, "You know what? I'm sorry, but please don't lecture me about how cars work. I've been doing this for 50 years. So, anywho, he walked away in disgust, didn't he? But fellas, can I please ask you, please, if you want to come and help us, come and help us. But if we look like we know what we're talking about, please treat us like the experts we are. Don't come and tell us how electrical systems on cars work when we're trying to tell you what the fault is. Alright? So, what was the fault? Well, the wire that comes from the auxiliary battery over to a fused system on the charge regulator. So there's a dual battery system, right, with a smart relay, right? So the wire that comes over to that smart relay had worn through and was touching the chassis of the car. Now it's fused, so it would short the fuse out every now and then, but that was the issue, right? Short the fuse out, no fridge. So, and also why the batteries were running down. So anyway, we've put some temporary insulation on it and we'll replace that wire tomorrow. The big issue that I had troubleshooting today is I'm not traveling with all my normal tools. I don't have my multimeter. Made it very hard to troubleshoot it. Anyway, I know I'm at fault. I shouldn't have been rude to the gentleman. But it's very difficult when we're here trying to solve a problem that we know the system intimately, and you're coming telling us, "Oh, this is how the electrical system works. Alternators charge your battery." Oh shit, Sherlock. Anyway, there you go.